It's picks versus the spread. That's right, we are back once again. It is that time of year, beautiful football season. I'm Cab Manning. You normally hear me on the Lingus Mafia podcast. I am joined by, a man who has many hats, but he doesn't like to wear them because he has such gorgeous hair. He is from lockbetting.com as well. That's what he's known for betting. That's Billy Body.
Yeah, well, this one particular hat that I have, I fucking wore it to Wimbledon.
It's not that cowboy hat from 7-Eleven, right?
Yep, I bought. I wore it to. No, I bought that hat. I bought that hat from Barcelona on a stag do. Not stag do. Yeah, it was a stag. What do you guys call it?
What is that?
Stag. I was correct to think what you guys call it. What's it called?
Kind of like a 7-Eleven?
Bachelor party.
A stag party. I got you. Yes.
Right. So I got it there in Barcelona, and it was just sitting there, and it was fucking hot, and I saw guys wearing it to Wimbledon. I was like, I'm going to take that to Wimbledon this week. I get it to Wimbledon. I'm on fucking TV wearing the hat. I'd never worn it ever again. I wore it one time in this country. I wore it to Wimbledon. I'm on TV. Everyone's like, why are you wearing the fucking hat?
That's
so
funny.
Then we're in Nashville. I know what Nashville's like. So I was like, oh, God, I can take the hat. I get to wear it for the fucking third time in my life. So I picked this hat up in 2019, wear it for one night out on a stag. Then I wear it to Wimbledon. I end up on TV. Then I wear it to a wrestling convention and end up fucking running into a guy we've been going back and forth with for the last 4 years.
It's a magnet, that fucking hat.
And everyone takes fucking photos of it. And then it's all over the fucking internet, and I'm wearing the hat for the third time in my life. So, yeah.
So you might have to wear it for this because that means it's I don't know if it's good luck or bad luck at this point because you kind of had a shit thing with it and then a good thing with it too. So, Jesus,
it's all shit thing. It's all shit. I don't want to be.
You didn't want to be on Wimbledon with it.
I don't want to be in the public eye in the fucking joke hat.
What's funny is I told Billy, too, I go, why are you wearing a sombrero? He's like, is that a sombrero? I go, no, I'm just fucking with you.
And that's the thing, like, we fucking also, what's even worse is that my favorite sports person out of everybody is Novak Djokovic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fucking, we see a couple of people at a fence and they're like, oh, Novak's going to come out in a minute. So I get the picture with him, which I wanted. Austin gets a picture too, but I get the picture with him. And again, it's in the fucking hat on the way into Wimbledon.
Should have him sign the hat. Now you need to have everyone sign that hat. That'd be fun. Any famous sports person got to sign the hat. You just got a hat full of everybody, like a mishmash of every sports.
There's no way to sign this fucking hat.
Carry that thing around.
I'll send you You think this is some like fucking...
It's like a hard plastic hat, isn't it?
No, it's a real fucking leather hat.
Oh, I thought it was like a hard plastic or something.
No.
It looks like this picture is like Novak is in jail and you're visiting.
Yeah.
You look like a sheriff who put a guy behind bars.
Yeah.
That should be the front page. Oh my God.
For not getting vaccinated.
Yeah. You put him, you look like you are the sheriff in town. You need I'm going to send this to someone. They're going to superimpose a badge on your chest and have you holding a wanted poster that you got the guy. But let's talk about why we're here in the first place. We are bettors extraordinaire. From multiple seasons we've done this show, and we've given this show on the Dirty Sheets. Now we're on Lock Betting Podcast doing this part for free for everybody, where we gave you our rundown and we gave you betting tips and the spreads, the over-unders, whatever we felt was best to bet. And we were doing this for a couple of years and did very, very well. And on my own, I've won the Survivor pool where people had multiple chances, and I beat them out on there. And Billy's had his website, lockbetting.com, where he does all the sports, and he has over 111 months now in a row where he is beaten, like he's made profit for that many times in a row. So we said, let's have a Patreon where we give our betting tips for the NFL, because like I can't do this with soccer. I wouldn't attempt to. Billy's into soccer. He has his own show for that. Different sports, different things. So he's going to have his kind of a network for things on his lock betting on this lock betting podcast. He'll have different things along the years and everything like that. And then, so we're doing the football together, and we're going to direct you to go to patreon.com/NFL six pack. And that's the number 6. So patreon.com/NFL six pack. And you could subscribe there. Now tell them the 2 different tiers, Billy, and what you get on each of those.
Yeah. So for the past few years, we've been closing out with our locks. We've had really, really solid lock records over the years. I believe we were tied the year before for 12-5, if you recall. And then last year you beat me. I was making the comeback because you started, was it 4-0, 6-0?
Oh God, it was a wild. It was a long while that I didn't lose. Yeah.
Yeah, 7-0. He started last year, and I started to claw it back, but in the end I did not, because I think what was it in the end? I'm looking at it up here. Cav ended up finishing 13-5, and I ended up clawing it back to 11-7. So you can see that these are fucking strong records, especially that 13-5. So yeah, we've decided that we are going to put these locks behind Patreon, but instead of getting 1 each, so instead of getting 2, you are now going to get 6. And it's also going to be more varied. So we're not going to be handcuffed to the spread. It may be spreads there. There may be all spread picks there, but it could also be a total. It could be a parlay. It could be a prop. You are going to get my 3 best bets from the NFL, and you are going to get Cav's 3 best bets from the NFL. So 1 lock is times by 3, but it will be behind Patreon. If you want that tier, and you want to get our 3 best bets, it's the NFL six pack, which is the Patreon, and it's the 6-pack tier. It's the 6-pack tier that you want to go to, which is $60. That works out to $2.50 a month, or if it's a 5-week month, just $2 a month per pick, which is far, far, far cheaper than anybody else. If you don't want to invest $60 a month, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't, then there is a $15 tier there. That $15 per month gets you the same show that you got last year. So we are going to record this podcast every single week, but there will be a bonus 10 minutes on the other side of that paywall, which you can get for $15 a month. You will get 1 lock from me, 1 lock from Cav, and you will enter into our Survivor discussion. You will have access to our Survivor discussion, which is important because we are talking to a fucking Survivor champion. And that's not easy to do. I mean, if you can make it 6-7 weeks in this thing, you've done pretty well. But this guy's gone the whole way. I don't know anybody else that's gone the whole way. I work with a ton of people in the gambling community, and he's the only Survivor champion that I know of. So that is a good discussion to have your ears on, to have access to. And you only get that for the $15. So that's $15 per month, which works out to less than $3.50 per week. So if you're listening to the show and you want to make money gambling, but you don't want to spend an extra $3.50 a week, just don't gamble. Just don't fucking gamble on sport, because you're obviously not serious about it. So yeah, that's what you get.
So yeah, when it came to my Survivor thing, I played against, God, there's over 20 some people in this pool, and I would say about 10 of them had 2 chances each, where when they screwed up, they got to stay in it. So I had to still outlast everybody with 1 chance, and I did that. So we'll be going through that on the bonus for everybody that's subscribed and can go to the Patreon. So on this show each week, we're going to give you a consensus teaser. That is going to be your 1 free thing you get from this show every week. When you are over the Patreon, you will get the 6 like we're going to do, and there are going to be many different ways to bet. There's going to be the over-unders. There's going to be the total thing that we're always doing with season, everything. And so it's going to be a variety of things you could bet with on
essentially, it's the same show as last year, except the locks have gone, and we have replaced it with one consensus teaser. So it's going to be one half of a teaser from me, 1 6-point teaser from me, and 1 6-point teaser from Cav. If you want last year's show and you preferred that format, that's still available for you for just $3.50 per week, or just over $3.50 per week, because $3.50 per week comes to 14. So just over $3.50 per week. That same show from last year with one lock each is available to you, plus Survivor discussion. But if you want to upgrade and you know what the lock record is between us, and you want to triple those locks, then that's the $60 package. So just to confirm, if you're already over on lockbetting.com, none of this is applicable to you, because you're going to just continue to get NFL picks from me. I'm not going to hold anything back from you when you're paying what you're paying for all my sports picks. So this is not not applicable to you. This is applicable to all the hundreds and hundreds of other people that listen to this and haven't decided to make any kind of investment in their sports gambling in order to make sure that they turn a profit.
Yeah, that only want to be in football. They don't want anything else. They just care about football. This is for them.
Yeah. But as far as getting to that last bit of the show before we break down the consensus teaser and all the extras that you can get over on Patreon, the first 30 minutes of the show is still going to be us talking about every single game. Now, obviously, we're not going to fucking sit here with our Patreon account and throw every single card on the table and say, I love this play, you must go out there and bet this. Like, obviously, we're not going to do that. But we are going to do the solid job that we usually do in terms of just trying to pick every game against the spread. We will continue to do that. So we do appreciate your podcast download, and we do want you to continue listening each week, and we'll put every effort into to handicap every game for you.
So also, I want everybody to know that I am invested hardcore in a Circa Casino Resort, Resort and Casino, I guess it's called. Circa in Vegas. They have a challenge for $1 million. And we're so in this that it's $1,000 per entry. You couldn't even enter from your home. You have to enter in person. I have someone who went to Vegas and entered this. Entered and got a proxy, because now you have to have somebody to enter your picks for you. And you have to have 5 picks versus the spread every week. They cut the season down into quarters, and the prizes are from each quarter you can get paid. So if you kind of screwed up, you could continue on and still be eligible to try to win this $1 million. So I am entered to try to win $1 million. So the bets I am going to be handing on my side when it comes into the Patreon are the same bets that I'm doing for myself to try to win $1 million. So you're not going to get I guess this, I'll take this, whatever. It's going to be the ones that I am fully in and got my money where my mouth is to try to win $1 million. So you could rest assured that it's not just a who cares thing on my side for sure. And Billy does this like for a living, so you're not going to get who cares from him.
I hate it when you listen to shows and they're like going, so what's your best bet of the week? And the guy's like, as soon as you hear the sentence when they're like, I think I'm going to go with, or
they're not positive on one. Yeah.
I'm torn between, no, like when I do my locks, and everybody knows about my soccer locks, especially, it's like, this is the one, this is why, this is the reason, this is the data, this is how this is what my gut's telling me. Like it's there, it's ready to go. Like, so that, I mean, the your best bet should always be your very best. There should be a thinking behind it. Also like a process of elimination as to why, any kind of short list any kind of short list you had as to why this was the standout. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be none of that bullshit.
So, Billy already hit the under for yesterday's game, which was the Rams and Buffalo. So, if you were on his site, because this has not been, our site didn't go up until today. Like right now, our site is available, and that's patreon.com/NFL 6-pack, the number 6.
And that's the number 6, yeah. One thing you will get on the show, obviously, if you guys are listening on from the future shows, is you will get that lock at the for free. You will get a season's future lock from us as well. So we are going to now commit on the show to one season future each. So this will be the only show where you do get an actual lock, but it'll be one to follow for the whole season. And so I've made my decision on mine, and I'll see what Cavs is at the end, and he'll see what mine is at the end.
There's actually a couple that I have to decide from, but I think I got my my futures bet for sure here. So what do we want to discuss first before we give our consensus teaser?
Well, we got to break down all the games first.
Yeah. So then we could start with. Do you want to start with, on my list I have here, Cleveland and Carolina, and because that's even. And this is
really?
Yeah, it's even right now, and Baker Mayfield is home, which is now Carolina. And
your list is so weird. I don't understand what kind of list this is. I always have an alphabetical list. That starts
really?
with
See, I go to ESPN. And
yeah, I got Atlanta first. Obviously, it goes from the 6 o'clocks to the 9:25.
Yeah,
right? So 6 o'clocks or 10 o'clocks for you. So Arizona are first at the 9:25, but then Atlanta are first on the normal list. But you always have some.
You know
list.
What's funny? It's always Chicago first because I have that bookmarked. So it's always going to tell me Chicago first. But I didn't have Carolina and Cleveland wasn't on the list when I first made these. And now it showed back up because they didn't have a spread. So I had to write them at the top of my list because that's where I had room. So that's why they're there. Otherwise, is yours going order of New Orleans, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Cincy, Philly, Detroit?
Yeah, mine's going in that order.
Okay.
Yeah, but Atlanta first because we list the home team first here. I don't know.
Okay, well, let's go. You want to do that first? We'll go New Orleans, Atlanta?
No. Do your order as long as we get every.
So with Cleveland going into Carolina, the big thing here is going to be, is Brissett capable of keeping this team afloat? Is he better than an injured Baker Mayfield from the year prior? Carolina had big-time quarterback problems last year with Darnold. It's almost like he had that stink of the Jets on him. And I had high hopes for Darnold last year to get himself right, because I think a lot of things are certain places, like receivers and quarterbacks, they go to die in Chicago, one of those things. And if you're a linebacker or a running back, you'll always be good in Chicago. There's weird things like that. And the Jets are just as horrible where it comes to having a quarterback. It's always a disaster. So you're kind of thinking, well, it's because he went to the Jets, and the Jets don't know how to manage anything. But then he was not too hot in Carolina either. So, but Cleveland was set to make a run for the Super Bowl. And it was all right, well, can Baker Mayfield do anything? And you always had the people that were they weren't his corner. He was just almost good enough to help you lose. One of those things. And him playing injured last year, I think, was I thought that was a big deal. It was his opposite shoulder of throwing. But if a part of your body's messed up and you're gyrating and moving, it's not like, oh, this side doesn't affect my other side.
Right.
So that's where I think he had a majority of the problem. But now it's going to be him trying to get revenge because he's pissed off. They got Watson. So now he's going to be home in his very first game with a new team is going against his old team.
So who have you got?
I'm taking Cleveland.
Okay. Any reason or?
I'm taking Cleveland because it's just they're a better team. And Brissett is not a nobody or just, oh, he's horrible. I mean, he started for many games with multiple teams. So I don't think he's just a regular backup. I think he's capable.
Yeah. This is a difficult game to start with, but the thing is with Cleveland, they can be under different head coaches, different quarterbacks, but they always come into the season with some hope. and it's usually like extinguished for this like fan base pretty early doors.
Yeah.
Like they let down. They always lose their opener. I remember when they were, bumped up to when they got Beckham, and they were pumped up to like the fourth or fifth favorites to win the whole thing. And they lost that opener, I believe. It was a really bad divisional loss as well. So yeah, they lose the openers. They failed to win their past 17 week one games. One ended in a tie, but so they've lost 16 of 17.
But they are playing a sub team, That's
I know,
like,
but still, like you think all those 17 teams were good? No. Also, the two of the last three losses, as I'm looking through, they lost by 32 and 30 points. So yeah, I'm not betting this team. Like they obviously have some prep issues coming into week one. They've got that Deshaun Watson issue hanging over them as well. I would just rather take the home team here in week one. I think Carolina find a way to beat them. I also like their Baker revenge angle just for this week. If he gets to play his Super Bowl from week one, and he's had like 8 weeks, 8-9 weeks to think about playing in his Super Bowl too. So yeah, I think I'm going to take Carolina. Yeah, I'm going to take them.
Okay. In my order here, we have San Francisco going into Chicago, and they're saying they don't know if Kittle's going to play or not. So the points have switched from like 6.5 to 7. They keep on bouncing, and now it looking like Kittle was out. It went to 7. For me, this is a very iffy game. This is a very scary one for me, where you would go, San Francisco almost went to the Super Bowl. This should, and Chicago's rebuilding. This should be a smash. To me, I don't know because of Trey Lance. We have not seen him do anything. He played a couple games barely and had a couple appearances the other year. Unproven, very difficult, very difficult. It's like he's going to have to hand off, and their defense is going to have to deal with this. There might be a good bet in there, Billy, to look at with over-under how many sacks San Francisco has because the offensive line of Chicago is so bad. This could be something, unless the new coaching staff, which we don't know either for Chicago, from preseason, it looked like they were doing the right things by like rolling him out fields and doing things like that. So he wasn't just a statue in a pocket. But with 7 points, I'm going to have to go with Chicago for 7 points. And if not covering that, get a push.
Yeah, Chicago have got nobody. So it makes it really difficult to take them. You also have the motivational element of it, where you saw that the Rams lost last night. 49ers can get themselves ahead here, start the season. Obviously, this is supposed to be a closely contested division. So for me to see these two teams losing in week one, that would be strange. But obviously, winning and covering is different. But I believe that the Bears are going to have major difficulties putting up any points. So that gives Trey Lance a game to figure it out. I mean, he's got 6 games to figure it out. The 49ers have a really easy start, and this is part of it. And even with that whole figuring out thing, he's been with Shanahan all summer. Shanahan's supposed to be this great offensive coach. If he doesn't win this game, what does that say about him? So, I think that they'll win and cover. I don't really think the Bears can stay within a touchdown here.
The San Francisco almost lost last year with Nagy as their fucking coach, which is wild. So, I don't mean I see Chicago obviously more than the person that isn't a fan. So I kind of see what goes on a little bit more, so I can give a little more depth to it, I think. And I actually will not be surprised if Chicago won that game. I really won't be, unless to me it all comes down to Lance. But the big deal is that defensive line of San Francisco versus the offensive line of Chicago, and that is the real. That is going to be okay. Let's see what you got, coach, because it's all going to be how does the coach protect this? And we're going to see. So let's go on to the following. Go ahead.
It's worth looking at a total there as well. I mean, seven of the last 8 49ers games have gone under, and there's not going to be a lot of points here. I mean, the total is low at 42, which is they know that, but is actually low enough.
So next we have New Orleans going into Atlanta. And New Orleans got the new head coach. You know, we're going full time with Jameis Winston. And Atlanta is a lot of they call it the Atlanta Bears because Pace went over to Atlanta, and pretty much all the guys that the Bears have cut, he signs. So it's a lot of retread over there, and they got Marcus Mariota as their quarterback. Can I give my futures lock of the year, Billy, already?
I guess so.
Okay, let's hit my... because I'm coming to it here. The future over-under for Atlanta is 7. Take the under. They are not winning 7 games. They are
Is
not.
it really?
Yes, it's insane to me.
That's not what I have it at. So I have it at 5.
Really?
You better check that.
Jesus. Okay, I will check that because that one, oof, that must have changed then on me because, my God, I was like, this is insane. Okay, so we'll check on that before we're out of here. I got another one that I could go to anyway eventually down here. So, Atlanta, New Orleans. I don't care that Atlanta is at home. Obviously, this is that start thing, and everybody has their, being, the first game and having to get their feet under them and everything like that. But this is what I've seen is -5 for New Orleans, and I think I'd go with New Orleans on here.
Yeah, I got 5.5 here, but it's like you're laying nearly a touchdown with Winston on the road. It's not just Winston; he's returning from an injury, significant injury. First game post Sean Payton. I think I would rather take the home team with the points. I mean, they're going to be bad, Atlanta, but I don't know if they'll be as bad as people think, where they lose every game and they're not competitive in a divisional game like this, because this is what this is. I mean, Kyle Pitts' numbers last year were good for a rookie tight end, so you expect him to be good again. Mariota is the quarterback. This is not like a fucking rookie that you're throwing in there. And he has familiarity with Arthur Smith's system because they were at Tennessee together. So they're not starting over. They've got a manageable team that are coming in. So yeah, I think it's still them staying in. It's not going to be a lock or anything, but I think they can stay. I think they could stay within 5.5 points of New Orleans in a division rivalry game where they're going to be highly motivated. First game of the season, divisional, no Sean Payton, injured quarterback quarterback coming off an injury. Yeah, lots of stuff, lots of reasons to not believe that New Orleans will win big here.
Okay, and we'll dive into it more for Patreon, of course, and give you lockdowns. Pittsburgh goes into Cincinnati, and Cincinnati is favored by 6.5. So I'm more high on Pittsburgh than a lot of people are with the whole Mitch thing. And like I've said, I think it's a lot to do with coaching and scheme more than it had to do with Mitch when it came to Chicago. I don't say, he's the greatest, obviously. He misses guys that are open, running down the line, hits in 5 yards in front of him, things like that. But 6.5, this is a real iffy one for me when I see this. But the AFC champions, and this is a division rival with Pittsburgh being new. I think Cincinnati going to have a little bit of swag when it comes with them, and they want to prove that it's not a one-year wonder type of thing. So I would pick Cincinnati here.
I don't think this is going to be a theme on the show.
Or we're going opposite all the time? Or what?
Yeah, yeah. Like, because obviously, if you go over to our Patreon and whatnot, I don't want there to be too much of a situation where, if we pick against each other every single game, we could have locks that oppose.
Well, we could give that away on the free one, that we're always against each other, and when we go to the other side, who knows what it might be.
Yeah, no, that feels like conmanship, if that's such a word. But no, I'm sure it's purely coincidental. I think, because me and Cav usually do agree on a lot of stuff. It's just purely coincidental how we started off the show. But I'm taking the 6.5. I'd buy the point, buy the half point to get it up to 7.
I'd be a lot more comfortable with 7. That's yeah. 6.5.
The Tomlin and the Steelers have always played well as an underdog. Don't forget last season they beat the Bills as an underdog on the road earlier on in the season. I think obviously the Super Bowl hangover is an angle. 30.9% of teams who lose in a Super Bowl don't actually get back to the playoffs. And that's for Cincinnati overachieving. They'll be dining out on that run. So they'll be dining out on that. By getting there as well, they weren't a dominant team. They got hot at the right time and won a bunch of close games, but I don't trust them in a role of a large favorite to be dominant. Think of it this way, like, if we run through the card and you can see that Indianapolis is a 7-point favorite over Texas this week, right? So you're telling me the difference between Colts and Texas is the same as the Steelers and the Bengals? No. I don't think Trubisky is necessarily an upgrade on Big Ben, but if you think that Trubisky, if you think he's healthy and he can move, and Big Ben can't and he has a noodle arm, then that could be different. The defense is still good. It's ravenous. They're going to put pressure on Cincinnati's offensive line, which is new. The last time these two teams met, the Bengals actually smashed the Steelers, so they'll be thinking about that. Like, the Steelers are going to remember that. Stuff like that doesn't happen back-to-back in the division. I think they'll play with enough passion to keep this close. I don't see a blowout. I see a divisional game. Okay. But I'll buy that half point, and I'll take 7.
Okay.
And I'll try and be on the same pick as you, Nick, in the next game at least.
I think on the next game we're going to be the same, and that's going to be Philly going into Detroit. Everybody's loves Detroit. Now, they're like the acclaimed, Billy. Everyone loves Detroit. It's that Hard Knocks. I told you about this before, that everybody's starting to, like, their points have gone up or their wins have gone up. Oh, this is going to be, I got a bet with my cousin with this Detroit nonsense. And you might want to give your, do you want to give your lock for your season over under right now?
No, because I posted my plays already. So here's the problem. I gave something out as the lock on my I planned something to be the lock, and I made the decision to sit out last night's game and see if the Bills lost and we'd get a better line on it. But my clients have already got it. So I already hit the Buffalo Tampa parlay. Okay. And obviously now I can say that because the odds on Buffalo are so much worse to win the division that it probably wouldn't be worth a bet. But so that was initially going to be my lock, but I found a different lock. My lock doesn't revolve around Philadelphia. I do have a play on Philadelphia. If you go to lockbetting.com, you can get all of my futures, and Philadelphia do factor into one of those. I did really well with my futures last year, so if you go over to lockbetting.com and purchase the correct package, you can get all of my NFL futures for the year. There's 20 units of futures. One of them does feature Philadelphia. But yeah, my free lock for the futures, I'm going to give it out at the end of the show. Okay. I'm going to save it because it doesn't involve Philadelphia. Okay. But as for this individual game, I'm going to take Philly to cover this for. Yeah. Last year, actually, the Eagles turned their season around against the Lions, but that was largely down to like the ground game. Lions have got better up front, but the Eagles have got better in the passing game as well, in addition to the wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Eagles are significantly better defensively, which is going to give Jared Goff problems all game long. Yeah, I just think I think they win this game, and I'll take the 4 points. Detroit's not like a home field where they come in big for week one and will push you over the line and whatnot because they're dying to see football. This probably won't even be sold out. So I think the offensive line is built to handle the Lions' upgraded pass rush, and it's going to give Jalen Hurts, time in the secondary. And I just see a very clear way that they'll win this game. If the Eagles are going to be as good as I thought they would be, this is a game they should win, and I'm not scared of 4 points.
Yeah, I got it at 4.5, and I'm still going with the Eagles on this one too.
Yeah, it's 4 or 4.5. It's not a key number, so it's fine.
Yeah. The Patriots going into Miami. Miami is favored here by 3.5. Oh, this is rough. I mean, Miami is stacked at this point, and Miami does seem to beat the Patriots. That's like their kryptonite is Miami. No matter what Miami's up to, they can bite the Patriots all the time. With the Patriots keeping things secret on who's calling the offensive plays, which is interesting. It's almost kind of a wait and see and see what they do, because we're going to find out the first game. From what I heard, it was Matt Patricia who was going to be calling that, which is odd because he's the defensive coordinator. So, I mean, doesn't mean he doesn't know both sides of the ball, obviously, but it is a very weird thing to see. I'm going to be taking Miami and giving that 3.5 points. It is they need to put up and show up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think through the season we'll find out that the Tua is not good, but I don't think we will in this game. I don't think Belichick can pull something out. I think when you look at the lines, the total lines, the win totals that were put out for the Patriots, a lot of it was looking at Bill Belichick and the possibility that you would have another losing season, and it just seems unfathomable. But when you give this roster to any other normal coach, it's like in the bottom. It's like in the bottom 5 of the AFC. And I think the roster is one of the worst. So, these teams are rated close by the market heading into the season, but they're not close in terms of personnel. Dolphins made big additions to help Tua and gave him an elite weapon in the passing game. So, if he doesn't lead this team to the playoffs, which is going to be really difficult in the AFC, by the way, much more difficult than it would be in the NFC, but I feel that he needs to get them close to the playoffs at least. They need to be a winning team, and if they're not, then it's Tua's fault. It's Tua's the problem, because he's been given everything else. But I mean, this is the game that he can win. I don't think the issue's going to come at home to the overrated Patriots. I mean, they're underdogs here, but I mean, even to be like 3 and even to have the win total they've got, I mean, it's quite overrated. When you look at it a bit deeper, I'm tempted to bet against the Patriots actually making their win total this year, because I don't think they're good at all.
This is why Tom was trying to get over to Miami. He was supposed to be the quarterback of Miami this year. He was trying to get Tampa to release him and go over there and then get some ownership as well, but did not work out that way. So he sees like, oh, these teams are stacked. Go win another one real quickly. That'd be very odd. Going into Baltimore playing at the Jets. It looks like Flacco is probably going to be starting this game. And if that's the case, he's going against his old team. I don't think that really matters here. It's 6.5 points Baltimore is favored by. Joe Flacco is a statue at this point. He was very good before, but when you have 0 mobility, that is a real problem. And the Jets are still the Jets, even though they had all those picks. They're still rookies. Got to give them a few years. Maybe they can get back on track. But if Baltimore cannot win this game by a touchdown, and today came down the pipe that Lamar Jackson did not re-sign. They are done talking, and he will just play out his year. and bank on himself. So he has some motivation to do well.
Yeah, I mean, I would ignore last year because they had all the injuries across across the offensive line. Lamar Jackson missed games. It was just bad injury. Like, I don't think it means anything. So it's a bit of a revenge tour for these guys. And the good place to start revenge tours is against the Jets. I know people were high on this team, but then straight away, like, Zach Wilson's injured in a preseason. So then you end up here with Flacco. Flacco can't move. They haven't got like a lot of downfield threats to be concerned about, especially against this Ravens defense. The ground game could be a factor this season, but not in this game. Baltimore finished number 1 in the NFL against the run last season, despite the fact that they didn't make it to the playoffs. Yes, this looks like it should be an easy cover. I mean, most importantly, the Ravens have a fully healthy secondary that should bottle up anything that New York's group of like wideouts try to do. So, yeah, I think that's I think they'll cover here. I find it difficult to see how they don't.
Jacksonville goes into Washington Redskins. You heard me. It's the Redskins are giving away 2.5. This is another show me type of thing. Now they got Carson Wentz with Washington now, so they have a different quarterback. Chico as the coach, he's gonna try to get them pointing in the right direction. I have faith in him more than anybody else. Jacksonville, it's the old coach Peterson, who is taking over Jacksonville, which will be better for Jacksonville, going against his old quarterback, who is Wentz, which is an interesting thing. So maybe he knows little weaknesses of where to go and what to do against him. But that whole being at home deal, first game of the year, so the stadium will be packed and be more hot with hopes and this and that. So I would lean more to Washington here.
This is difficult because
very
you can almost erase and forget about anything that Jacksonville did last year under Urban Meyer. And for Trevor Lawrence, who should be good and may be good, he was in a worse situation, being in a dysfunctional coaching staff and players in skill positions not being able to like live up to their ability and whatnot. So yeah, I think this team might be better. Wentz was bad for the Colts last year, and you feel like Frank Reich couldn't save him. Like, who will? Mm-hmm. Washington defense was really good the year before. Last year it took a step back, and we don't know what we're going to get with them either. So I don't know. I'd like this to be 3. But I feel this could be a pick that I think this could be a game that like bites people this week. I think people will be
look at Jacksonville's on their way now. One of those things, right?
Yeah, no, like Jacksonville are only Jacksonville on the road are only getting 2.5 points. Mm-hmm. So obviously, a lot of people will be betting on Washington. But yeah, I feel like these teams are fairly even, and I feel like the better quarterback is with the Jags. So they also have the new coach too. So maybe they'll play hard. And like I said, I don't think they're going to have a winning season, but I do think they might come out for week 1.
Mm-hmm. Indianapolis going into Houston. Houston's supposed to be a bottom feeder, and Indy has Matt Ryan now. It's not years and years ago Matt Ryan, but he is still better than what Indy has had. And Indy has a hellacious defense. We know this. And Houston is, like I said, a bottom feeder. This is only 7 points. You might think, oh, it's only a touchdown and one of those things, if they're winning by 14, do they just give up and, they score late, one of those stupid things. And at worst, you're getting a push, so you're not losing your money. But I don't think Indianapolis is going to have an issue here, and I think they need to come out hot to show people that they are for real and could win that division.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they've had some bad week 1s before that, people can point to, losing to Jacksonville, for example. But yeah, I think that here the Colts are going to hit hard throughout this game. They're gonna not wait to use Jonathan Taylor. The passing attack will have precision to keep defenses from stacking the box when they don't use him. But I think his efforts with the ball are going to keep Houston on their heels. Open up the play action for Ryan to find targets downfield. And yeah, there's a clear way that the Colts win this heavy. The last season, actually, the Colts swept the Texans during their season series. Combined score was 62-3. And both teams made changes in the offseason, and Colts are actually better. So, yeah, I feel that I feel this touchdown will get covered.
The New York Giants going into the Tennessee Titans. It's only 5.5 points, Billy. People, I don't think Tennessee's going to be what they were last year. And however, it's not like they blew this team up. And like we say, Henry, probably won't last the full year. Like he's going to get hurt, this and that. This is the first game. And after Tannehill's horrible last game, I can't. And the Giants are still shit. So this is only 5.5, like I said. And I think they run all over the Giants.
Yeah, I've talked myself out of betting Tennessee.
Yeah, they've fallen out of that grace of, Tennessee's that fucking, love pick that everybody's, in love with just, before. And now they're like discouraged because they had that shit game in the playoffs. It's like they completely fell off the map now.
5.5 points is not a lot. The interesting thing here is that
if they beat the Giants by 3, they're fucking done.
New York lost their last 5 games, and they've got an 8-2 ATS record in their last 10, which is crazy. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. You got Giants in transition, Tennessee team that leans on the run, chews up clock, and a total of 44. This feels like a game that won't have a lot of points, but I still feel that even Tennessee could cover. I think even Tennessee, like, they've really got bad. They don't.
Yeah.
They're not.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No.
Who won the division? They were first place in all of the AFC.
No, I agree. I think I've looked for underdog value here or reasons why teams won't cover because I tell you what, it's you look more this week because week one's rough, right?
Yeah.
And you look at some of these lines and these teams coming in with expectations that have been hyped up through the off season, and you go, -6, -7, -5.5.
Sure.
We'll take it all with the teams that did well last year, and that formula doesn't work because week one is notorious for people losing money unless you look at it carefully. Unless you can know the history of it. I mean, obviously there was a week one a few years ago where everybody made money, and I think everybody made money for a few weeks in the NFL, 3-4 weeks where just the public was just killing it, taking favorites. But that doesn't happen very often. So, I mean, but this, I can't find a reason why they won't cover other than the fact that I think Colts win the division. Is not necessarily a reflection on Titans. I do think Titans are in a situation where their schedule is hard, and halfway through the season, if it's looking like they're 2-6 or something like that, that they may just give up on Tannehill and try to look ahead to next year. But yeah, it's only the fucking New York Giants. It's only 5.5 points.
Time for your boys. They're going into Minnesota. Green Bay going into Minnesota. And it's only 1.5 points. That is what Green Bay is giving. 1.5. Oh, boy. This, it's very easy to just, Green Bay, always Green Bay because they're a fucking good team. They got a great quarterback, all that stuff. Seeing, multiple people leaving the team as in coaches, and then they're, probably the best receiver in football, he leaves. And you just go, it's almost like a video game. Well, fuck it. Rodgers could put it on somebody's fucking hands wherever the fuck they are. However, it's rookies and guys who haven't played with him and might not go to the spot that he is throwing it to. So it's more on them than it is on Rodgers. Rodgers was upset with them about, like, there was a lot of offsides, that kind of thing, false start type of stuff with their receivers, and he was a little edgy in the preseason from that and saying they need to get their shit together. Minnesota plays Green Bay very tough, and they do split with them a lot. It's not Bears Packers where I don't care who the fuck is on whose team. It doesn't matter, you know? Fucking Rodgers with one fucking leg broken, he still fucking wins. It doesn't matter. But Minnesota being at home, I have a lot of faith this year in Minnesota because of the new coaching staff, and I think it's a do or die when it comes to Cousins at this point. I think I'm going to lean to the side of Minnesota.
I don't know what to do with this game.
Also, remember, Rodgers in that first game is not the fucking greatest usually because he doesn't play preseason at all. So then getting real speed, like what the fuck happened in New Orleans, or it was Jacksonville at the time, was fucking bizarre. And then he was fine after that. Like he said, okay, I'm up to speed. So I almost kind of take into account it's the first game. And like I kind of do with the Chicago and San Francisco one, I go, if this was the second or third game, I don't think I would think twice on betting on San Francisco. But the first game gives that wiggle room to me, and that's why I would take Minnesota. But, hey, I'm not going to be fucking shocked if Green Bay beats them.
Yeah, this is going to be about how Aaron Rodgers meshes with the wide receivers.
Yeah.
And the wide receiver is an inexperienced group. So, I mean, then it's also about keeping Kirk Cousins upright long enough to find the pass catchers on their team too.
Yeah,
it's going to be harder with our defense being better.
Yeah, you're going to rely on defense and handing off the ball a lot this year. Like Rodgers doesn't even really have to do too much.
I had this as a loss, but still got Green Bay to 13-4.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the point of changing. I know we're not good on the road, especially at week 1. So there's no point coming on a gambling podcast and trying to be a homer. I don't want to lose this game. I won't bet on the Minnesota Vikings. I don't do that. But for you guys, I don't think my team will win this game.
Okay, it's like one of those bets like me. I always go, if I lost my bet, I don't mind. I'm covering myself both ways because I'd rather my team win, one of those things. Kansas City going into Arizona. No Hopkins for a while after the whole embarrassment after Kyler Murray signed his contract and they put in there that you were forced to study for a certain amount of time. Just study time. Set the microwave timer. It's time to study. Kansas City's going into Arizona, and Kansas City is giving 6 points to Arizona. I think I would have to lean more toward KC here. I think Billy thinks Arizona is going to be shittier than I think they're going to be. But I will be taking Kansas City because Kansas City's still Kansas City.
Yeah, the same. I made my case for why Kansas City's win total was too low on multiple podcasts this week. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think that they're being somewhat overlooked this year.
Okay, Las Vegas is going into, as we like to say, San Diego. Home of the Raiders, by the way, because it is L.A. San Diego is giving 3.5 points to the Las Vegas Raiders. It was a shootout last year with Vegas winning. San Diego has boosted their defense to help stop the bleeding after their offense scores all the time. Vegas has a problem with their defense. That's their weakness. But now they got your guy from Green Bay, who's best buddies with the quarterback. So let's see. I'm very interested to see how they mesh and if they're on the same page from college still. But I would grab the 3.5 points here and take Vegas. It's not a strong one, though, for me.
All right. I was reading up on this one earlier.
Expectations for San Diego are very, very high. So, like, and this division is everybody killing each other, and this is the first taste of this division killing each other.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers.
Okay.
Can't put any solid reasoning behind this play, actually. Because they don't have a big, strong home field advantage, do they?
No, not at all. It's almost like anytime they play, or even the Rams, it's a neutral field. That's how I feel. It's not a home field. You see how many Bills fans were there the other day?
Yeah, but I still think this is the better team. I think obviously I don't think like the Raiders want to be seeing Devontae Adams in week 1. They've got the edge in the passing game. They can use these weapons against the Raiders secondary. They're strong enough to succeed up front against the defensive line. There was some indications that this was becoming more of a home field advantage last year. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have the Chargers rated like well ahead of the Raiders.
Yeah.
In what they're supposed to do this season. So 3 points doesn't seem like a lot. Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers. I think I'll take the Chargers here.
Okay. Tampa Bay goes into Dallas. I'm not crazy high on Tampa this year. I could see this being the fucking end when it comes to Tom being done. And not really any reason too much why. It's very under the radar this year with the retire and then the comeback thing. And then it was like, I haven't really seen, like, and then he was away for so long and there might be a issue with the marriage, which you try to say, well, you clear your head and you play football instead and you're not worried about that. I thought that until one time in my life I was going through a breakup and then I went to play a fucking sports where it was like, oh, get out there and clear your head. And I was fucking horrific. Like, it wasn't like I'm sitting there thinking about it, but it just affected me. And so that's a very much a possibility here with this season. Tampa is giving Dallas 2.5 points. I think Dallas win this game outright. Remember they almost did it last year, week 1, and that was after Tampa won the Super Bowl.
Here we go. We're starting to get onto the same page with things, even if it's like,
we did quite a bit after those first like 4 games.
Yeah. But like even with this, like where it's like with that exact sentence in terms of missing out these 3 points, which you could take because 3, it's not like 2.5 or 1.5, like 3 points is significant because games are lost
by 3.
Games are lost via field goals. Yeah. But I like the Cowboys in this spot. The Bucs offensive line's banged up. What's been going on with Brady. I don't know how much he's like practiced with his team, if it's been enough. They'll focus on ways to the Cowboys will focus on ways to attack and have success in defense, making Brady uncomfortable. This is a showcase here for the Cowboys as well. I think there's pressure on them to prove something this season.
Yeah, and at home to start too.
Yeah. I think. Well, and also catching Tampa unprepared.
Mm-hmm. It's that same, like I said, that week 1 thing where you go, if this was maybe week 5, I think maybe differently, seeing what they were both doing. But week 1, I think that's always the best chance to get someone.
Yeah, I mean, the Bucs have a problem here with the offensive line being banged up. Brady will slow down, and
you would think.
But I mean, he still won't be able to handle pressure up the middle if they can get it on him. And yeah, I think I just think home field carries them through here. I think this is one where it'll be important. This is a big home field advantage. This place. This is one of the most difficult places to get a ticket for in football.
I would think, and too, especially week 1 when everybody's starving for football. It's not old hat at this point. It's first game. Everybody's out of their minds. Last game in a week. This is on Monday. This is Denver in Seattle, and this is Russell Wilson going back for his first game, kind of like Baker Mayfield, but going actually home. And Denver is only giving 6.5 points to Seattle. Now, Billy, I would like to say my season lock, because I was wrong with the numbers with the other thing that changed on me. They got me. Seattle is predicted to be 5.5 wins. Mm-hmm. I am saying it is under 5.5 wins. I think they will be either the first pick or the second pick in the NFL draft.
Really?
Yes. When people have said Chicago is the worst in the fucking NFL, I said, hold my fucking beer. This is insane. Seattle will be horrific this year. They were bad with Wilson. Like, Wilson was fucking, Wilson's the whole team, as we know, and they got 7 wins last year. Now he's not there, and Bobby Wagner left too. Everybody's like gone, and they still got Metcalf. Well, good luck getting him the ball.
I mean, this defense is bad. The Seattle defense is bad.
And Denver's defense is great.
Right.
So they got to, prove their wide receivers. But
this is very odd, like with this Wilson returning here as well. There's a lot of fucking there's a lot of reasons why you want to look for reasons why on week 1 why the home underdog turns up in the spot like that. That's what you got to be careful of, like these home teams, but you can't really find it here. The defense is bad, and Russell Wilson returning back. Officially, they have the worst quarterback in the depth chart in the NFL. That's what Seattle have. Everything's going against them here in this game, so I can't. I've tried in every way to go to find a reason why.
The crowd is the only thing even closely possible that could help the Seattle.
The crowds, they get taken out of it when teams fall behind. Like they don't carry comebacks, and they don't have the personnel to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, this could be if Denver get the first score, even if it's a case of the defense has some resilience and they start putting up, a field goal or whatever. The Seattle can't chase this game.
Yeah,
it has to be like in terms of Denver not clicking and creating turnovers on Wilson, and Wilson's overwhelmed by the occasion. It's going to take Denver to play really, really bad to lose this game. So no, I think we'll stick with Denver here.
So who is your season that you wanted to give your thing at the end of the show for the Freebirds?
Yeah, my lock. Yeah, I found a lock in the NFC North. It's quite an easy one. It's just Minnesota and Green Bay to be the top 2 in any order.
Oh boy! Wow. Yeah. Holy shit. That's take it to the bank, kids. It's over.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't know. If you look at the pricing for it, which I can send you, it's not that much different to taking a regular weekly NFL pick, which I'm sending to Cav now. It's priced up at 8 to 11. A regular NFL pick in a week is always, as you know, 10 to 11.
So tell us what that means for the betting people. Like if you bet $100, what does that get you when it's 10 to 11?
Well, in any NFL game, when you bet against the spread, if you want to make 100, you have to bet 110. So here, if you bet 110, you don't get 100, you get 80. But I think it's worth it for for the play.
Yeah, it's a free
Like,
$80.
Yeah, but I would be obviously looking at betting a little more than that on it. I can't see outside of these two being the top two.
No.
The next down in the market is Chicago and Packers, which I don't understand because Detroit are significantly higher rated in the market. If you go even further down than that, like there's the same screenshot I just sent you. You can go 4-1, and I'm talking like, so 100 can win you 400 profit if you go Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears in that order. Or, the other way, which Cav might think, Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions at 10-3. Or actually, I think Cav thinks Vikings.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be going with Minnesota. I mean, listen, I'm not jumping up and down about that pick, but that's where I'm going now. But I do think the Bears will be better than the Lions still.
Yeah. So, yeah, my lock is going to be on the on Packers in Minnesota.
Yeah.
If you can't get that, and I shouldn't really be doing this because I talked a lot. We talked a lot about the start of the show about how we wanted to send people over to our.
Well, this first show we've been generous and given you a lot to get you to come over.
Also,
the next show is not going to be this in depth of picking against the spread. I'll tell you that.
No, but it's also the part here where you may not have this market because this is Sky Bet. I haven't seen this in loads of places. What I have seen is the dual forecast, which is you bet the 1 and 2, which has to be in a specific order. This pick allows you to get any order. As Cav said, it's free money, so great if you can get it. If you can't, if you're looking for an over under, the San Francisco win total at 9.5 is way too low. San Francisco win total is too low at 9.5.
Yeah, that is pretty iffy too. Like I said, it's all on quarterback. As soon as they put Jimmy G in, they'll be okay.
I don't think they will. I think they'll stick Lance in for the season.
I'm thinking by week 3.
Well, it won't be. If they start with 3 wins out of 3, why would they're not going to take him out? They're just going to continue to work on him, aren't they?
Yeah, to a point. But I mean, if they're playing garbage teams and they're like skin of their teeth winning, and you see that it's not the reason why they're winning is because of him, like it's like defensive interceptions or something, it's like, oh, the fucking defense scored all the points, then it's different. It's like it doesn't matter that it was a win or a loss, it's on the performance of the guy. But it is hard to just pull someone when they go, but you haven't lost. Well, fuck, he's thrown 12 interceptions, what are you talking about? It's not his fault that he's fucking winning. So all right, let's give our consensus teaser, shall we?
Okay, so my half of the teaser, I was torn between whacking those 6 points onto.
You're probably going to say the 2 that I have, which means it's the other one and then I'll choose. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna whack the points onto the Steelers because I don't think that I don't think the Bengals come out and beat them by 2 touchdowns. But I've gone the other way instead. I've gone for the Baltimore Ravens, which takes it down to -1. They are not. Joe Flacco is not beating the Baltimore Ravens on week 1. All you need them to do is win. All you need the Ravens to do is win here to cash this half of the teaser. So
okay, well, it wasn't one of mine. I am doing it with take the points off of Denver. And so now Denver just has to win against Seattle.
Okay, so we got a -1 and 0.
Yeah, and 0 with that. So there is your show for the week, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to come over because we're going to do an extra 10 minutes and give you some Survivor stuff and talk a little bit more and give you some in-depth when it comes to doing some bets here on patreon.com/NFL 6-pack, the number 6. So make sure you go there and check out the different tiers, see what you can do. Because I need to make my Vegas picks, and I'm going to talk to Billy about that, and I'm going to see what he thinks, because I think we're going to be on the same page when it comes to putting in my Vegas picks, Billy. You're going to be along for the ride when now I'm a millionaire at the end of the season because I did this. So that's what happens. So I am Cav Manning. He's Billy Body. You also want to check out lockbetting.com and check out both of our Twitters. Mine's at Lingus Mafia and his is at lockbetting.com. we're going to continue the show over on Patreon, Billy. So let's go over there.
He could go all